Welcome. Thanks for joining me. This is our final class, class 6 of our 6-week program for the Beginner's Guide to Yoga Movement. Today's class, we're going to start out with a counting breath. So we've worked with our diaphragm, we've worked with our rib cage, we've expanded and contracted our breath, ebbing and flowing, working with Ujjayi, we've counted our breath, manipulated it in several different ways. So today we're going to be doing a counting breath. So I'd like you to sit yourself up nice and tall or lie yourself back, whatever you prefer. And we're going to work with those breaths of the diaphragm and the ribs, but we're going to add in a breakdown of a counting up and a counting down. This is a good predecessor to meditation, which we're going to drop into after we complete our counting practice. Allow your eyes to gently soften and gaze downward or close. Find the nice tall posture, arms resting along the sides of your torso. Follow your breath. Notice the movement of your diaphragm. Feel the expansion of the rib cage. Smooth, seamless breath. We're not over breathing or under breathing. Release your tongue. Allow your legs and your arms to be soft. Notice where you might be holding the body where it isn't necessary. Smooth, seamless breath. You can work with your Ujjayi breath, diaphragm, ribs. I'm going to count for you. Just simply follow my count as best as you can, inhaling completely and exhaling completely. If you start to feel tension, anxiety, soften, release, and then join again when you can. So we're going to take a deep breath in. Exhale all the way out. And we'll begin. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, pause. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, pause. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, pause. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, pause. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, pause. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, pause. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, pause. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, pause. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pause. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pause. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pause. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pause. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, pause. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, pause. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, pause. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, pause. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, pause. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, pause. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, pause. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Pause. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pause. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pause. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pause. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pause. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pause. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pause. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Pause. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. Pause. And just simply release your breath. Allow your eyes to soften. Just gently follow your breath in and out. Nothing you need to do. Simply be here. Be with your body. Be with your breath. All the way in, all the way out. If you're using Ujjayi, just let the Ujjayi go. Let your own natural rhythm rise and fall away. Mind drifts, gently guide it back. And then very gently, let's bring our hands to heart center. If you happen to be lying, work your way up to a seated position. We'll take a deep breath in. Exhale. And we'll take another deep breath in and we'll chant one Om to begin. Namaste. One. Let's begin, and I'd like to share with you the concept of bandhas. And so the bandhas are root locks that we have, And there's 3 basic root locks, and I'm not going to get really overly detailed because this is something that takes a little practice. But if you simply take a block and you're just going to sit on that block, and your hips are on the block and your heels are next to you, and we're sitting up nice and tall. And what we're going to do is there's 3 bandhas. So there's Mula Bandha, which is the base of the pelvic floor. There's Uddiyana Bandha, which is right at the solar plexus area, and it actually has 2 points. It's at the lower abdominal wall, where it would be right here, and then there's also points right here. So if you tighten up your abdominal wall, you'll feel Uddiyana Bandha in a breath state, and then as an exhaled state, it'll be lifted up and under, and we're not going to be looking at that today. And then Jalandhara Bandha is just simply drawing the jawline back and just dropping the chin. And what you would do is you would take the tongue and just reach it back along the top of the roof of your mouth. But the one important bandha is Mula Bandha, and that is the pelvic floor. So what we're going to do is we simply sit and let the hips be heavy on the floor, on the block, right? And now what I'd like you to do is you're going to take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, you're just simply going to squeeze the breath out. And as you softly empty your lungs, empty your lungs, empty your lungs, and if you keep going all the way to the bottom of the breath, you're going to start to feel your pelvic floor is going to lift, rising up, and you'll feel a tightness in the lower abdominal wall, and you're also going to feel a tightness coming to this area of the body. And then softly release as you inhale. And then again, you're going to exhale completely, slowly emptying the lungs, and feel the lift of the pelvic floor. And feel the soft tightening at the lower abdominal wall and right in this general area of the abdomen. Release as you inhale. And again, exhale, slowly emptying the lungs. And as you go to the bottom, you'll start to feel the lift of the pelvic floor. Now when you get to the bottom of the breath, very softly, see if you can stay in that sensation of that lift as you inhale. And then again, as you exhale, reconnect with the pelvic floor. Inhaling, staying connected. And exhale, again, feeling that connection. Now as you're lifting the pelvic floor, I want you to notice that you're not grabbing at your butt. So you're feeling heavy in the block. You're not lifting muscularly with your butt cheeks. This energy is a lift right up to the central line of the body, from the pelvic floor, which is the perineum, all the way up through the line of the spine. One more time. Exhale all the way to the bottom. And then we're going to gently release. And you're going to come onto your hands and knees, and we're going to take this block out, and we're going to spread out through our fingers, turn our toes under, and you're just simply going to lift and go back into the downward facing dog. Soften your eyes, deepen your breath. And now the same action here. We take a deep inhalation as we exhale, and you squeeze the breath out. Feel how you can feel the gentle lift of the pelvic floor. So when you're working with the bandhas, they're always inside of the movement of the breath. Exhaling to the bottom. And then this time, look between your hands. You can just step your feet forward, hanging down into a standing forward fold. Tuck your chin, let the arms hang by the sides. Let's take our arms and we're going to sweep them open. Pull our heart forward, and we're going to rise on up to the high prayer and release and bring our arms back down. We're going to bring our hands to heart center. Now simply find the feet, follow the big toe, the little toe, center of the heel. We're going to run through our sun salutations that we've been building up to for this class. We're going to start out with our C series salutation. So let's take a deep breath in. With our exhale, our arms release. Inhale, up and over the heart center. High prayer, arching back, lifting the chest up. With our exhale, we're going to come into our own lap. Standing forward fold, we bending at the groin lines. Now let's take our right foot, step it back into the outside, pressing back through our heel. Then we're going to drop our knee. Inhale, lift up away from the lunge. And then we gently draw our hips forward, pressing back, and draw forward, and then we pause. If we'd like to, we could add a little crescent moon here, arching back, finding the edges without going over. And then with our exhale, we bring the hands to the floor, step back into our downward facing dog. Inhale, come into the plank position. Exhale, knees, chest and chin. Inhale, onto the belly, point the toes. We lift the chest, the feet, the knees, the pelvis are on the floor, pulling ourselves out of our pants. Lift up onto our hands and knees. Spread our fingers, pick up the knees, and then hinge back. Downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. Bottom of the exhale, go all the way to the bottom of your breath and feel the lift of your pelvic floor. The tightening of the lower abdominal wall. Bottom of the breath, take your right foot forward. Drop your knee, point the toe, lift up away from the lunge with the legs. Exhale, we gently rock forward and back, finding the edge of the pose without going over. Pause right where we need to, and then again, if you choose to, lifting up. With our exhale, we come down, turn our toes under, pick up the back foot, and standing forward fold, hanging down. Let's take the arms, sweep open, we pull our heart forward, rising up, palms together, arching back, and with our exhale, release, and we come back to the center. So that was C series sun salutation. Now we're going to do A series sun salutation. So we take a deep breath in, exhale, arms release, they stay in front of the line of the torso. Inhale, high prayer. Exhale, hinging at the hips, come all the way down into your own lap, standing forward fold. Hands at the hips, pull your heart forward, half lifting. Hands to the floor, both feet step back into the downward facing dog. Hinge forward into the plank, Chaturanga Dandasana. Then we come on down, point the toes, lift the chest. Pick up the back bend, launch your legs, upward dog, drop your knees, turn your toes under. And as you exhale, lift and we hinge back into our downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here, lengthening through your spine. Now focus on the movement of your breath. Use your Ujjayi, the gentle breath of a whisper. Go to the bottom of your exhalation. Feel the connection into the pelvic floor. Mula Bandha, Ujjara Bandha, as you feel the tightening in the lower abdominal wall. And we keep our jawline gently tucked, softly, and drawn back. Jalandhara Bandha. So keeping all the energy running through the line of the spine. Bottom of our exhale, gaze between the hands. Step your feet forward. Bring the hands to your hips, half lifting, lengthening out through the crown of your head. Exhale into the standing forward fold. Let's take the arms, sweep open, pull our heart forward, rising up into the high prayer. Exhale, releasing, hands to heart center. Soft eyes, gazing downward. Now we're going to come into our B series. Take a deep breath in. With our exhale, we drop our hips. With our inhale, fierce posture, Uttanasana. Exhale, standing forward folds. Hands to the hips, pick up your heart center, half lifting. Hands to the floor, both feet back, downward facing dog. Hinge forward into the plank, press the hands and heels, Chaturanga Dandasana. Come on down, lift the chest, lifting the back bend, launch your legs, soft eyes. Drop your knees, turn your toes under, lift, pause, and back we go.
downward facing dog. Now let's dial our left femur out just a hair. Bring our right foot forward behind our right hand. Up we come. Hands are at our hips. Now we bend the front knee. We bring the back hip forward, pausing. Palms come together. Inhale, lifting. Virabhadrasana 1, forward facing hero. Exhale, we go right back down. Step back, downward facing dog. Hinge forward into the plank. Chaturanga Dandasana. Come on down. Lift the chest. Lift the back bend. Launch the legs. Soft eyes. Drop your knees. Exhale. Turn the toes under. Lift. And back we go. Downward facing dog. Dial your right femur out. Bring your left foot forward. Up you come. Hips are almost squared up. We bend the front knee. Pause. Back leg is straight. Inhale. Up we come. We're not grabbing with our feet. Exhale, back down you go. Step back, downward facing. Hinge forward into the plank. Chaturanga Dandasana. Come on down. Lift the spine. Lift the back bend. Launch the legs. Drop the knees. Turn the toes under. Lift. And as you exhale, we all end up back in the downward facing dog. And again, each time you go into the bottom of your breath, release the jawline. Find the connection with the pelvic floor. Mula Bandha, Ujjayi Bandha. The jawline's drawn back, so we're not looking forward. We're keeping the neck nice and long, neutral. Bottom of your exhale, shift the weight, step your feet forward. Hands to hips, half lifting, lengthening out to the spine. Exhale, standing forward fold. We bend our knees, drop our hips, inhale, fierce posture. Return to the beginning, back to where we started, Samastitihi. So that's our C series, our A series, and our B series. Now we're gonna use the A series as our vinyasa flow to run through some standing postures. So we find our feet, hands together, Tadasana, beginning posture, Samastitihi. Take a deep breath. Exhale, the arms release. Inhale, up and over heart center. High prayer, long front line and back line. Exhale, bend the knees, come into your own lap, bending at the groin line, standing forward fold. Hands to the hips, pull your heart forward, half lifting. Hands to the earth, let's step both feet back. Downward facing dog. Hinge forward into the plank. Chaturanga Dandasana. Come on down. Lift the chest, pick up the back bend, up dog, drop the knees. Exhale, lift the knees, hinge back, downward facing dog. So now we're gonna dial our left femur out just a bit. Take our right foot forward behind the right hand, grab our block and bring the block inside of our front foot. So now we're gonna combine several postures. We're gonna do the pyramid, the revolved triangle, and the triangle position. So again, your feet are offset, back foot is barely turned out. Hands are at the hips. We bend at the groin lines as if we had a rail there that we're bending over. Bring the hands onto the block. Lengthening out through your spine. Now the left hand stays on the block. The right hand comes to the sacral plane. As we exhale, we turn the torso without turning the hips. Soft, 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 soft eyes. Deep, deep, deep breath. Let's keep the hips squared up. And so we're trying to keep the back hip from coming forward so the sacral plane stays squared up to the floor. Each breath, gently ebbing and flowing. Ebbing and flowing. Pardon? This is revolved triangle position. So we go from pyramid to the revolved triangle position. Soften your eyes, deepen your breath. Now the bottom of the exhale, we're going to release, look down, bring your hands back to the block and return to the pyramid format. So the back leg rotates inward, we're squared up again. All right, now from here, let's take the right hand onto the block, dial your left femur out, bend the front knee. Now bring the left hand to the sacral plane. We're gonna turn the torso open and we just leave our back hip alone. So the back hip falls forward. We suck the right femur back, turning the torso. Take the left arm up, gaze into the thumb. Now you can stay on the block or you can lift up away from the block. So what we want to understand is it's the legs that are the posture. The spine is nice and long on both sides. What we're doing with the arms is secondary compared to what we're doing with our spine. Soft, 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 soft eyes. Come on, just a little bit. So this is the triangle position with very happy sacrums. Each breath ebbing and flowing, ebbing and flowing. Now, take your left arm, reach overhead, bringing yourself back down, and you're going to return to the pyramid position. Having the feet squared up towards the front of the mat, lengthening out through the crown of your head. Then we're going to come all the way down into the fold, move the block off. Just allow your spine to rest over the front leg. Then let's bring our hands to the mat. We're going to step both feet back, downward facing dog. Now you could stay in the down dog or drop to the knees, do cat stretches, rocking back and forth. What feels right for you? Otherwise, from the down dog, we might come into the plank, Chaturanga Dandasana. Then we come on down, lift the spine, lift the back bend, launch the legs. Drop our knees, turn the toes under, lift, and back we go. Downward facing dog. Dial your right femur out, bring your left foot forward now. Grab your block, inside of your front foot. Rise up, hands are at the hips. Now, hips are squared up, barely rotating our back leg. Bending the front knees so that we can hinge forward evenly. Hands come to the hips. Our sacral plane, hand come to the block. Our sacral plane is squared up towards the floor. Hips squared up towards the front of the mat as best as we can. Now, keeping the right hand on the block, left hand comes to the sacral plane. And then we softly dial the torso, twisting to the left. Shoulders follow, head follows the shoulders. Each breath, ebbing and flowing. Ebbing and flowing. Breathe. All the way to the bottom, all the way to the top. Make sure that you're not jamming with the shoulder on the right side. You're lifting away from the earth as we breathe. Yes. Now, look down. You're going to gently release, coming back to the pyramid position. Make sure that the feet are lined up. And then we're going to go to the triangle position. So the left hand is going to stay on the block. The left knee bends, so it's tracking towards the second toe. Dial your right femur out so the foot will turn out about 45 degrees or so. Right hand to the sacral plane this time. Now we turn the torso open to the right, just leaving the right hip be so we're not cranking it around. Draw the left leg up. We take the arms, we stretch them open. Now you could keep the right hand on the block or you can come away. Tuck the chin and we gaze into our right thumb. Soften our eyes, deepen the breath. Now keep in mind, the heels having to be lined up isn't necessary. In fact, you want to give the sacral plane lots of space. So if we offset our feet, we'll have much more space to work with. So think about this. Each breath ebbing and flowing. Keep the shoulder bent. Yes, there you go. And then take the right arm, reach overhead, coming back down into the pyramid, releasing the back leg, squaring the hips back off so the feet are almost pointed forward. Move the block off, hanging down, back of your neck is long. Now let's bring our hands back onto the floor when we're ready. Step both of your feet back into the downward facing dog. You can stay here, drop your knees, or we hinge forward, Chaturanga Dandasana. You come on down, point the toes, lift the chest, pick yourself up, upward facing dog. Drop the knees, turn the toes under, lift, pause, and back we go. Downward facing dog. Breathe all the way to the bottom, all the way to the top. Now you can stay here or drop to your knees, otherwise bottom of the breath. Feet come forward, hands to hips, half lifting. Exhale into your fold. Take the arms, sweep open, pull the heart forward, rising up into the high prayer. And then we're going to exhale and go right back down into our forward fold. Bring your hands to your hips, scoop up your heart center, half lift. Hands to the earth. Both of your feet step back into the downward facing dog. You could stay here, drop the knees or plank, Chaturanga Dandasana, come on down, lift the chest, pick up the back bend, launch the legs, exhale, drop your knees, turn the toes under, lift, and back we go, downward facing dog. Now from here, we're gonna dial our left femur out a bit, we're gonna bring our right foot forward behind the right hand, grab the block, and this time let's bring it to the outside of our right foot. And we're gonna come on up to stand. Now, you're gonna take your back femur, rotate it open slightly so that your foot and your knee are following that rotation. Our hips are gonna stay squared up to the floor. So with the triangle, we did this with our hips, and then the spine followed. But for the warrior two position, Virabhadrasana 2, we don't do that with our hips. So again, we have our feet slightly offset. You're gonna bend your front knee, and the front knee is gonna track towards your second toe. We don't wanna be grabbing with the feet. So we're just gonna start out with the hands at the hips. The front knee bends and it presses out. So if you have your hands, it's kind of like the goddess pose. Bring your hand to the outside of your thigh, press the thigh back, and you're gonna drop the inside left groin line. Draw yourself back up, drop the inside left groin line, and draw yourself back up. Now maybe you might find a little bit of an adjustment, go a little wider or closer, but keep the hips squared up. Pressing back through the thigh, bending the front knee, it tracks towards the second toe, and pause right where you find the posture. You're not grabbing with your back foot. You take the arms, they stretch open out of the armpits, they stay in front of the line of your torso, and then very gently you're just gonna turn your head and look over the middle finger of your front hand. Warrior two position. So you can see the variations of the distance between the feet, long and open. What we're looking at is, are the shoulders level? Are the hips level? That's what we want to be working on. Back leg is straight. Soften your eyes. Deepen your breath. All the way to the bottom. All the way to the top. Soft, 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 soft eyes. Deep, deep, deep breath. You could actually have your stance a little shorter because you don't have your right angle here that's making this hip shift. Trying to get there. And then what you're going to do is you're going to bend your front elbow and you're going to bring your forearm down onto your thigh. And when you do this, what's going to happen is you're going to start to feel the release of the inner left groin line. You can keep your forearm here, or maybe if you can, you'll bring your hand down onto your block. And you're going to press the knee back into your arm, and your groin line is coming forward. And you're going to press into the back heel, but you're not doing anything with the toes. Then we're going to let the left arm drop down, and then it's going to reach overhead, and we're going to turn. You see my arm stays in front of the line of my torso, and I'm rotating. So there's a twist here, not a back bend. Lengthening out through from the fingertips to the heel. And then if I'd like, I can turn my head, look into my armpit, and then maybe just gently lift and look into my palm. Soft eyes, deep breath, extended angle position. Each breath gently ebbing and flowing, ebbing and flowing. All the way to the bottom, all the way to the top. Soft, 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 soft eyes. Deep, deep, deep breath. A little bit more space here. Now when you turn, now can you just softly lift your eyes? And right there. Feel the difference? And this is soft. Okay, now from here, follow your left hand down, bring it to the floor, and then step back with both of your feet into the downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog, hinge forward into the plank if you choose to, or you could drop down to your knees. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, lift the back bend, upward facing dog, soft eyes, drop the knees, turn your toes under, and we all meet in the downward facing dog. Now from your downward dog, you're going to turn your right toes out. We're going to bring our left foot forward, grab our block, and bring the block to the outside of our front foot. Now we're going to dial the right femur out a bit. So you're turning your foot almost 90 degrees. And then look at the space that you have between your feet. Start out with a little less than you need so you can do some research. Now, the right hip stays dropping, so as you bend your knee, the front knee is going to track towards your second toe. You're pressing the thigh out slightly, and you're taking a seat in the right groin line. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, take that seat. So do some research and notice, do you have a little bit more space available to you, or do you need to shorten your stance a bit? And then you're going to pause right where you find the pose. It's not necessary to have a right angle anywhere. Take the arms and reach them out. They're coming right out of the armpits. And then we just softly turn the head and look over the middle finger of your front hand. Warrior two. Virabhadrasana 2. Soften your eyes, deepen your breath. Keep the inside right groin line dropping down. Each breath gently ebbing and flowing. Ebbing and flowing. All the way to the bottom. All the way to the top. See if you can move this way. Pressing back and then bend. That's it. Breathe. Now from here, we're going to go from our warrior two position to our extended angle position. So we're going to simply come from the warrior two, bend our elbow, bring the forearm down onto the thigh, or bring the hand down onto the block. Now you're pressing the knee out, bringing the groin line forward, just lengthening through the back leg, let go of your toes. You're turning the torso open to the right. Then bring your right arm in front, extend overhead, and just turn the torso. So the arm stays in front of the line of the torso. You can tuck your chin, put your nose right in your armpit, and then very softly lift the eyes to look into your palm and breathe. Soft, soft, soft palate. Give your tongue lots of space. Reaching, breathing, all the way to the bottom. The knee can be in front of the heel, the knee can be behind the heel. It's okay. Just where does your body allow you to work? Moving the pelvis just a little bit forward. Look that way. And then rotate the top leg. Go back towards me. Legs trying to rotate. There you go. Soft, 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 soft eyes. Deep, deep breath. Now gently lift your eyes. And feel like it's like when you lift your eyes, you almost feel like you're lifting them too. Yeah. And now look down, release to the floor, and step both of your feet back into the downward facing dog. Soft eyes, deep, deep, deep breath. Now you could stay here or vinyasa. You can also drop down, lift the chest, upward facing dog. Take your time. Find where you want to be today. Maybe you have a lot of energy. Maybe you don't have much energy at all. Each breath, all the way in, all the way out. Now from here, let's look between our hands, or take the knees to the space between the hands and sit on down. All right. Now we're going to cross our ankles. And we're going to sit back. Now we're going to do a position which is the seated boat, Navasana. Navasana, what we're looking to do is, you can imagine if you're sitting like this and you bring your hands underneath the back edge of the knees, right? Now keeping your arms straight, you're just going to bend your knees and lean back and pause. There's your Navasana. Do you see the spine and the torso are at a right angle, just as if you were sitting just like this, okay? So that's to find where your spacing is. Now from here, what you can do is you're going to simply be here. You can take leg up, bring it down, take a leg up, bring it down. Now, if you don't have the core strength or the flexor strength to be doing this, you can bring the hands next to you or behind you to sit yourself up nice and tall, and then maybe try the movement where you're still working with the arms, all right? So this is a good way to be. Hold yourself there, release, hold, and release, all right? But however, now if you're past that, you're like, hey, I can do this, right? So here you are, you're simply gonna lean back,
take up one leg, bring it down, take up the other leg, and bring it down. And if you feel like, hey, this is way too easy, then what you're gonna do is you're gonna lift up the knees and feet, and you're just gonna lean back. Keep your knees bent. And here's your posture. You could also use the hands on the floor with the legs up. So you can see you can use support to keep this nice long line. Then maybe you take a leg up, do the other leg, the knees stay together. Maybe you do them both, lift both. Now, you can keep the knees bent, bring the arms out. There's your Navasana. Then you'll release. If you can, you grab the opposite foot and you're gonna try to balance on the hips. If this doesn't work for you, you can bring the knees in, have the feet on the floor. But if you're able to stay balancing and you wanna try to get as close to the front edge of your sits bones, so if you go too far, you'll fall on your face, which is good because you'll be practicing, right? Now from here, you're gonna release again. You bring the feet on the floor, find this angle, all right? And then from there, you can lift one again, the other. Maybe you can lean back, straighten out through both. There you are. The angle with the thighs. Knees don't need to be straight. And then you'll cross the legs the opposite way, lift yourself up, and again, balance. Seated boat position, Navasana. Soften your eyes, deepen your breath. Let's do that one more time. So we'll start out here. You can just lean back, keep your feet on the floor, hands on the floor. Again, bring your hands behind you, lift. Maybe you're able to lengthen out both legs, maybe just one. Soft eyes, deep breath. And then again, release. Lift your chest up. And then bring the legs down. Now we're gonna come back into our cobbler position. So let's bring the bottoms of our feet together. You could have a little lift underneath you, use a blanket, things like that, if you feel like your spine is rounded. So the bottoms of our feet together, our knees lengthen away, and then very softly, you can just simply sit here, hands are on the knees, wherever you're at. You lean forward, you don't use the arms. Soft eyes, deep breath. So you're folding at the groin line. So the pubic bone is moving towards the floor. As you come forward, there's an external rotation at the thigh bone. Soften your palate, deepen your breath. Take your time. And keep in mind, it's not your head that's getting anywhere, all right? Then from here, you're gonna gently lift yourself up, bring the legs together, and we're gonna stretch out first one leg and then the other. Now you can stay sitting up on your cushion. Otherwise, you can come onto the floor and you're gonna bend your right knee and bring the bottom of your foot on the floor. Then you're gonna take the foot and bring it over to the outside of the leg. Now notice how your spine is nice and tall, sitting up, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna twist. And as we twist, our legs don't change. We're not gripping, the hips stay, and we're moving through the spinal column, right? When you find that's it, take the left arm and wrap it around the knee. Take your right arm, bring it around, and just gently place it on the floor or on the cushion. Now you're using the arm softly to bring your belly button around to the right, the rib cage, the shoulder. The last thing to come around is the chin. Softly gazing down. Each breath, ebbing and flowing, ebbing and flowing. All the way to the bottom, all the way to the top of your breath. And then gently release, come on back around, stretch out through our legs, lengthening up to the spine. Take our left knee, bend it in, bring the foot to the outside, adjust what you're sitting on, make sure you're nice and tall. Now the twist is to the left. So the legs stay where they are, the hips stay where they are, and we're turning at the waistline. The rib cage is coming around. Then you're gonna pause right about where you find the twist, bring your forearm around the knee, left hip stays down, bring the left arm around behind you. it's on the floor or on the cushion. And then we use the arms to gently help us rotate the belly. The shoulders come around. Last thing to come around is your chin. Softly gazing down. Each breath, ebbing and flowing. Ebbing and flowing. Seated spinal twist. Soft, steady breath, using your ujjayi if you can. And then we gently come on back around. And let's take both legs and stretch them out in front of us. We roll our ankles in and out, point and flex. All right, and then from here, other vinyasa. So we lift up, cross the ankles, move your cushion out. Hands come onto the mat. We lift the knees and hinge back, downward facing dog. Now maybe you just stay in down dog or you're on your hands and knees doing cat stretches. Otherwise, Chaturanga Dandasana. Come on down, lift the chest, pick yourself up, launch your legs, drop your knees, turn your toes under, lift, pause, hinge back, downward facing dog. Soften your eyes, deepen your breath, ebbing and flowing. And now from here, let's drop our knees down. And we're going to sit back on our heels. Now, what I'm going to introduce you to is the handstand and an inverted angle. So I'm going to give you two different options to work with. So I'm going to take my mat and I'm going to bring it over to the wall. And we're going to start out just by doing a downward facing dog and then walking it into the wall and stepping it up, right? So I'm going to bring my hands onto the floor. I'm hands and knees position, lifting myself up. And I'm going to put my heels on the wall and just lengthen back. Down dog. So your down dog is actually your first entrance into a hand balance. Then I'm going to walk my hands a little closer towards my feet. I'm going to step one foot up the wall, and then I'm going to step the other. And if you don't keep your weight in, whoop, your feet fall down like that, right? So maybe you're a little too close or too far, you can adjust. And then you lift up. Now you can just step up like this and drop back down. Step up and drop down. So you're just looking to be able to get the weight into your hands. You can separate the feet and you stay with the knees bent. So you don't need to be straight with the legs, and we're just lifting up, lengthening up through the spine. So that's the inverted angle position. Soft eyes, deep, deep breath. Now, if you're able to, after that, then we'll come into a hand balance. So if it's possible, you'll face the wall. You're about 6 inches or so, maybe a little bit more away. And again, see how you're like in a downward facing dog. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna walk your feet a little closer and you're gonna lift up and take the other foot up, and there you are in a hand balance. And then you can just bring yourself back down. Kick yourself up, press off, and bring yourself back down. It's fun. Okay, so let's try that. All right, so you pick which variation you want to work with. So I know some of you have done hand balances in the past, so you can lift up. And now use your breath. So at the bottom of your exhale, you kick up. If you don't get to the wall, that's okay. Just keep your arms straight. So one of the things about a hand balance is you need to lock your elbows. If you're in an inverted angle, just do the best you can. You can bend the knees a little bit so that your weight stays towards the wall. So with an inverted angle, it's really important to keep the weight pressing in, come out, take your time. And be playful, because doing inversions requires you to have a sense of humor, especially when you fall down a lot. Because sometimes going in and coming back, we're not so graceful in our dropping, and it doesn't matter. I think about when I work with kids, they never worry about making a lot of noise when they crash down. In fact, sometimes crashing, I think, is what they're interested in doing. Just keep reaching, use your ribs, and be in your shoulders. And then you can do child's pose between. Each breath, ebbing and flowing, in and out. In and out. Soft eyes, deep breath, all the way to the bottom, all the way to the top. Let's do one more if you can, and then we'll do our child's pose. A nice combination is the hand balance to Navasana, which was the seated boat variation. I'm gonna try to lift up, lift up, lift up. You can bend your knees if you like. There you go. Good. Excellent. And when you're ready, come down and child's pose. Each breath ebbing and flowing, ebbing and flowing. Take your head down, back of the neck is long. Each breath ebbing and flowing. Let the arms rest on the sides of your torso. Nothing for you to do. Simply be here with your body. Did such a great job with your breath. All the way to the end of the breath. All the way to the top. Head and butt down. Breathe. Soft. All right, so now from child's pose, you come up away from the child's pose. You can do another vinyasa if you'd like to, or now from all of our work, we're just going to simply put our legs up the wall. Now, you can use a bolster underneath your hips. You could just have a blanket underneath you. Let me know if you need me to bring you anything. Put your layers on. So now if you're going to put your legs up the wall first, then lift up and we put the bolster underneath your hips. Soften your eyes, deepen your breath. Nothing you need to do but simply be here. Let the floor take you. Let the floor support you. Now, if you put your legs up and then you put something underneath your hips and it doesn't feel right, you don't need to have anything underneath your hips. Otherwise, this is a really nice cascading energy that you have. Put your layers on. You can cover your eyes up if you'd like to. Now feel the weight of the head, the shoulders, the hips, and you'd like to feel that the sacral plane is level with the floor. So we can adjust whatever we need to make that happen. Now allow your eyes to sink. Gently close them. Bring your attention to your inner landscape. Nothing you need to do but simply be present, be with your body, be with the movement of your breath. Eyes sinking, palate high and empty. Nothing you need to do but simply be here, be with your body, be with the movement of your breath. Release the insides of your thighs. Feel the weight of the legs as they drop into the wall. Notice how the hips drop down into the cushion, and envision the weight of your thigh bones dropping down into the back of the pelvic girdle. Release through the pelvic floor, soft belly, releasing the rib cage. Just allow your arms to hang out of the shoulder girdle as if they were empty sleeves. Your eyes are sinking, the tongue has space. And simply allow the body to completely surrender into gravity's embrace. Tune into the movement of your breath, gently ebbing and flowing. Nothing you need to do now, but simply be here, be with your body, be with your breath. All the way in, all the way out. Soft, fluid, effortless. Mind gently drifts away, guided back to your body, back to the breath, back to your body,
back to the breath. Soft, fluid, effortless. Each breath gently ebbing and flowing in and out. In and out. Now we'll begin to deepen our breath. Begin to add gentle movement. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Give yourself a nice stretch. And then we'll bend our knees in. Take the cushion out from underneath you. And then roll off to your side. Have your head on your arm or a cushion, something that you have available to support you. And take a few breaths here to listen to what the body has to say to you. And then we'll use both arms to gently press away from the floor. Sit yourself up. And close together. Each breath gently ebbing and flowing. Let's gently bring our hands to heart center. Take a deep breath in together. Exhale. And we'll take another deep breath in to chant. Another breath. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaste. So thanks again for joining me. This was the conclusion of our 6-week program. I hope that you have learned and gotten tools to allow you to expand and grow your practice. I look forward to seeing you again. Take great care and have a magnificent day. Bye for now.